Hi everyone, good afternoon. Good afternoon everyone. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, please drop on the chat box that you can hear me. So it's another wonderful Sunday here in Lagos, Nigeria. And it's so great to have every one of you join us. And if you're watching this later, hi, I'm saying hi to you. So this is Azure Nigeria Community, and what we do is to help you, stay steadfast in your career journey. So if you're looking to jump into the cloud space, and yes, Microsoft Azure is your go-to cloud platform, then this is your safe place. So stay with us. We have an amazing individual with years of experience, and I can tell you she's a great person. I admire her so much in this space. And yes, please feel free to jot down your questions because that is what you're here for. And before we get started, I would like us to do introduction. You can just drop on the chat box your name, your present profession, or maybe your industry, and yes, where you're joining us from. Please do that on the chat box and I'll be, taking that. So I can start with mine if you don't mind. So my name is Tolulope, specialist, education, and I would say I'm joining from Lagos, Nigeria. So you can do that on the chat box while we proceed. So I can see few individuals here. Please, I would like Blessing and others. So please drop on the chat box, let us know. And please, one more thing, if you're new on the cloud journey, on this journey, I would like you to drop that on the chat box because we would like our speaker to know the kind of individual she'll be speaking with, the kind of individual she'll be sharing our journey with. We would like her to know the kind of individuals we have here on this space today. So seeing a consultant, Ireland, see, people far away, people that are not going through what we are going through in Nigeria. You might go to the bank and you don't even come home with money, and you deposited money, but they are still here. So please, if you're here and you're joining from outside Nigeria, please share with us. We'd like to know where you're joining us from. So while we are doing that, I would like to introduce our guests for today. And let me tell you, she's someone I admire so much, like a mentor, faraway mentor, and I'm glad I'm doing this with her. So Imo Samson, Security, United States. Is that morning, afternoon, or night? Hi, Imo, just saying hi from here. So guys, please drop your information, and I would like to know where you're joining us from. So yes, I have here with us the beautiful Foyin Olajide-Bello. And yes, if you know Textilers, she is the founder of Textile. Morning, 10:07 a.m. Wow, good morning. Welcome to Sunday. So Foyin is a passionate and well-driven solutions architect with over 14 years. Do you know what 14 years is? 14 years is no joke, but she has that. Over 14 years of work experience, and she has a great desire to make a difference for the better and lives with this code. Please, I'll need you to listen to this code because while I was going through her profile, I read this over and over again just to let it sink in. I need to live it better than I met it. Like, I thought about this code so deep, like, I need to live it better like I met it. I wish maybe a lot of us use this in our day-to-day life, especially the leaders of Nigeria, and even an individual who use the public toilet and live it better than he or she met it. So please, this code that Foyin is using in our day-to-day life, please, I would like you, and even if you're not going to take anything related to cloud home today, please take this quote home today. I need to live it better than I met it. So please take this home. And also, she's a Microsoft MVP in business application. She believes strongly in sharing and advocates for women empowerment through technology. This is how I got to know Foyin, our empowerment for women, and this is why I love her. So this is how I got to know her. So I know she does this amazingly well. She leads an active platform, a platform, a user group here in Nigeria. And like I said earlier, she founded Textilas. And if you don't know Textilas is a community that empowers women, upskills women. So a lot of women go there. You get a mentor, you're a mentee, and all that. So that is what Textilas. You can go on Google and look for that community Textilas. If you're a woman, this is a great community you need to join. So she spends her weekend speaking at technology events. This is a Sunday. She should be with her family, but here she is again doing this. So yes, she spends her weekend speaking at technology events and user group meetings. When she's not speaking, she mentors women and other members of the community. So this is just a short profile, 14 years is no joke. Everything she has done in 14 years cannot be said here today, but this is just a short profile of Foyin. So here, once again, I'm saying welcome, Foyin. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you for doing this with us, and we are so grateful to have you here today. I know individuals here have questions, and I'm sure you're ready to answer. So I, Niger boy, software engineer for Toronto. We have a lot of people outside the country. Thank you for doing this with us, guys, today, and welcome you. So, Foyin, I would like you to, build more on the profile, because I know the profile is more than what I just read out. So, I would like you to build more on the profile. Let us get to know you, most especially your background. How did you become Foyin Olajide-Bello that we know of today? So, please give us a brief background of yourself, your career journey, and how did you get here?
Okay, I wanted to dive straight into it. Thank you so much, Tolu. So let me stop sharing my screen for a bit. Hello everyone, morning, evening, from anywhere you are joining us from. Thank you so much for coming to this session, and I'd like to say a big thank you to the Azure Nigeria Community for putting this together. Who am I? Tolu has done justice to that, so I will not bore you with any additional information on that. And really, there's nothing much to say in addition to all she has said. And I'll just say that as I go through this, my session and my topic for today, I'll talk a bit more about myself and some of the reasons behind some of the things that I'm calling out. So I guess I can start now, Tolu.
Yes, please, you can go ahead. Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. So when I was thinking of what to talk about, I said the Azure Nigerian community members are very skilled, technology savvy individuals. So what else can we talk about? And that was why I decided, okay, beyond tech skills, right? So you're very fantastic at what you're doing as an engineer, as a developer, as a DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, site reliability engineer, and all of the fancy things. But what else should you be looking into? And I believe that this is here today for somebody on the call. Some of the things you may already know, but you're not applying. Some may be new to you. And I would like us to also ask questions along the way. You can drop in the chat, so Lou will moderate for us. Or if you'd like to unmute your mic, you can also go ahead and do that. So I hope to have an interactive session for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, so what else do I need to do to accelerate my career? So let's talk a bit more about this. The first thing I want to talk about is personal brand. And this may mean different things to different people, right? But this is an important part of your career, right? When people hear your name, what comes to their mind? When people hear Tolulokwe, what do they think about? When people hear Imo, when people hear Kelechi, that is your personal brand, right? So as you start to reflect on yourself, how long you have worked for, you need to ask yourself, when people say my name, what comes to their mind? And whatever answer you get is a function of several things. And we'll talk about that today. We need to be intentional about our personal brand, right? And it's down to the little things. And I'll, touch on it a bit So let me start. Let me not jump ahead of myself. The first thing is your online presence. I like to tell people that your online presence is your digital twin. And you need to be careful and mindful of the type of things that you put out there about yourself, because your online presence defines your brand. It defines who you are. It defines what you stand for, right? But a lot of us are not really bothered about it, right? We just see a post, we comment, we, just put out a post because we are feeling very emotional about something or very passionate about a particular subject. But sometimes you tend to forget that that's not just your @Foyin B on Twitter. That handle is Foyin Olajide-Bello in the digital form. So personal brand for me, number one is your online presence. What are you talking about in your accounts? Your LinkedIn account, your Twitter, whatever other accounts that you have. That is who you are, because you're 100% of yourself. You don't have two lives. You don't have Foyin of work and Foyin of personal. Foyin is Foyin, as you know, it's all fluid now. They will even tell you in the office, bring your 100% self to work. So whatever you don't want to be associated with, don't put it out online, So be very cautious of what you put out there, because whatever you put out there defines your personal brand. So that's the first thing I want to say. And this may apply to all of us in different ways. And it's okay if you're an activist and all of that, and that's how you want to be perceived, then that's fine. But all I'm saying is whatever you put out there online is who you are in the physical. It's not a different person. That's just your digital twin, right? Then your offline presence. So that this is now you, the you that we see, right? That's also your personal brand. So we start to talk about things like the way you talk. We talk about things like the way you dress. We talk about things like the way you address people, courtesy, caution, empathy. All of these things will now define your personal brand in your offline presence, right? How do you interact with people? Which kind of links me to the second part. What are your values? What do you stand for, right? So if you take it home to the workplace, are you the kind of individual that you would commit to something and not do it, right? So you've been given a task, and you said, I'll get back to you in 24 hours on the call, just a Teams call with your colleagues, not even your seniors. And they need somebody to get this thing done and said, oh, it's fine, I'll take on that task. I'll get back to you in 24 hours. Or I'll get back to you for close of business tomorrow. You just said it on the call. No emails, nothing. Close of business tomorrow. You did not get back to them. The second day, nothing. A week, nothing. And then it's on the next call. They're like, oh, but Foyin, you said you would get back to us in 24 hours. You say, oh, I'm sorry, I got so overwhelmed with work, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you are already defining your brand. Right? And it's in the little things. And as much as I'm speaking about career, I'm also speaking about personal lives. When you commit to something, to someone in your personal life, get it done. And if you can see that, look, I'm not going to get this thing done, then you reach out to the person and say, oh, I'm sorry, I promised that I'll have a call with you at 8 p.m. But the way it's looking, this call can't happen at 8, right? So, but let's have it 2 p.m. tomorrow, right? So all of these things are defining your personal brand. And what happens? So if you're in the office, you committed to your colleagues and you did not meet up with your commitments, no, of course, no worries. So you guys are peers. But what will happen is the next time you raise your hand, someone will just say, oh, don't worry, I've taken that tax already. Guys, I'll give it back to you tomorrow. And everybody will say, okay, thank you, Tolulokwe, and they'll just ignore Foyin because you have already formed a brand for yourself. And then what then happens is when that person, let's say Imo, is in another meeting and somebody is saying, oh, Foyin has said that she would get this tax done for us. Imo will say, are you sure she's going to get it done? I've been in situations where Foyin has committed to do something and she didn't pull through, and she didn't even let anybody know. Please, can you assign that task to somebody else? Your personal brand is what is going ripple effect, domino effects. And then the person that email told, maybe Raphael, in that meeting that has not even had encounter with you directly, would then go into another meeting and carry that impression. So your personal brand is in the smallest, minute things. So don't be in a hurry to commit. Don't be in a hurry to say yes. And before you do, calculate. Let me bring it down to our Nigerian English. Calculate yourself and be sure that you can meet up with this thing. So those are the things we're talking about. Those are the values we're talking about. Then values, cuts around integrity also, which is part of what I'm saying. When you say integrity, people think it's only about money. No, integrity is also about what you say you're going to do. Getting it done means you are a person of integrity. People can rely on you. They know you are reliable. So all of these things are your values, and they define your personal brand. And before you start to know it, when somebody says your name, when somebody hears your name, there is a mental picture about you. That mental picture is your personal brand. And it cuts across your values, also your experiences, right? So when we talk about experiences, what have you done? Like, so if we're in the workplace and you're trying to define, oh, these are the kind of things I've done, these are the type of things I've worked on, as you have those experiences with people. So say you're working on project A, you work with 3 or 4 people, there's an experience that they've had with you on that project. You move to another project, there's an experience that those people are having of you. So all of those various experiences that those people are having of you is defining your personal brand. So what is that experience you want these people to live with after they have worked with you for 3 months, for 4 months, right? So when I was a couple of years ago, right, when I started my career early, I was in the SharePoint world and doing a lot of intranets and all of that. So of course, I work on projects. I work with these people. I'll finish. I'll move off to something else. I'll finish. I'll move off. So I worked with somebody in Abuja. Then we did the project. I finished. I moved off. The person called me maybe 5 years after from Austria and said he has a friend who is in Nigeria that is looking for somebody that knows how to deploy SharePoints. And he wanted to know if I had anyone that had worked with around me that I could vouch for, who can do the work for his friend. And in my mind, I'm like, 5 years ago. Do you understand? That's an experience. He's looking back in his head and saying, who have I worked with that knows this technology and did a fantastic job? And Foyin is coming to his head 5 years ago, right? A lot of you knew that I was in Sterling Bank before, right? How did my name pop up? How did my name pop up to Sterling in the first place? I'd worked with somebody 8 years before when I just started my career. Maybe I was just 2 years. But the person saw the passion I put in. I was pregnant. And then it's not this world now that people are enjoying, that everything is in the cloud. We had to go to sites. You had to be there with the servers. So I'll be there. It's not working. I don't know how to give excuse. I can't go home. So I'll be there till 11 p.m. in VI. And I live in Ijai, Agbado. For those of you that are familiar with Lagos, you know the distance. A pregnant woman, heavily pregnant. I was almost 6 months gone then. I'll come back and say, sorry, I've not left yet because this thing is not working. And he has to work because I can't say story tomorrow. And the man will just be looking at me like this. Are you sure you don't want to listen to me? I say, no, don't worry. Once this configuration works, when I come tomorrow, and I'm coming tomorrow, not in this our generation where we can't go to sites. Everything is work from home. Then you will not come tomorrow. You must come tomorrow. I will still come tomorrow, which means I'll leave my house at 5. So what I'm trying to say is that was an experience that he had with me. And it was a very small project, or just a POC, right? And that POC led to a bigger project. And of course, I finished, I left. 8 years down the line, he needed somebody to work with him that knew SharePoints. And guess what? I came to his mind. So what I'm saying is I'm matching now, I'm matching experiences with your skills, with values, right? I'm not pulling everything together in one bucket and saying this is what forms your personal brand, right? So when people have that experience of you, and this is example of work, and you can also bring it to your personal life, when people have these experiences with you, either your friends, your family members, I don't know if you're a Christian, your church members, when they have this type of experiences with you, then all of this comes together to form your personal brand. And then when somebody hears your name, they know you for something. And whatever it is that they know you for was determined by you and nobody else. So let's be intentional. Don't feel that, oh, I'm working with this person now. I will never see you again in my life. I don't need you anymore. Please, let this project just end and let that be it. No, because you don't know. I'm giving you experiences of somebody 8 years ago. Do you understand? 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And there are so many other things like that involves me going back to some people because I had an experience with them 5 years ago. And now I need somebody. Or I need to recommend somebody. I need to put my name on the line for someone. I can go back to that person and say, you know what? Come, because I've had an experience with you. So all of these things form your personal brand, right? So your offline presence is all of these examples I've given. Your online presence, you cannot be saying you are person A offline and you are person B online. I call it multiple personality disorder as far as I'm concerned, because why would you cannot be two different people. It either means that offline you are deceiving us that we are seeing you physically, or you are deceiving the people online. It's one of them must be the real you. We don't know which one. So don't get people confused about your person. I've had interactions with people and I'm like, I don't understand. Is this the same person that I'm seeing on Twitter that is this same person that I'm dealing with in person? I can't match it. And that's a personal brand. So tomorrow if somebody asks me about this person, I'll be like, I don't really know. And that's the truth, because it's not matching up in my head who you are offline and who you are online. And people are taking notes. People just think that people don't know. It's a lie. People know you. They know who you are online. They know your handle. They know your picture. They know everything about you. So when they meet you in person, or if they know you in person and they meet you online, they are matching it and it's forming your brand. So why is it important? It's important for the reasons I've said below. For establishing credibility, increasing your visibility, and create a positive reputation in both personal and professional contexts. That's why your personal brand is important. So personal brand is not all about, oh, your LinkedIn page needs to look like this, your social media page needs to look like that. No. Personal brand are these things we're talking about. This is your values, your skills, your experiences, right? Makes up your personal brand. I don't know if you have any questions in the chats, or if somebody has some would like to ask a question on this before I move to the next thing that I think is important for you beyond your tech skills.
Okay, we don't have questions in the chat for now.
Okay.
We can proceed, yeah.
Thank you. All right. So if you are with me, can I see a thumbs up, anything to show that yes, you are still here, and I'm not just it's not just your
Guys,
your
please, if you're with us, use
your
the raise
bubble.
hand button. Let's know you're with us. And if you have questions, kindly drop on the chat box, or you can raise your hand, then I would ask you to unmute yourself. But please use the raise hand button. Let us know you're with us right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
I saw a lot of.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. All right. So yes, please use the chat box for your question, or you raise your hand again later. All right.
Okay, so let's talk about the next thing, networking. What does my network look like, and do I really need this? Right? I've heard so much about networking. When I was writing this, I said people say, "Oh, networking, I've heard it," but I would, say it from a different angle, the way I address the personal brand too. Now, first thing I want to talk about is volunteering. And why is volunteering connected to networking? Because when you volunteer, it increases the number of people that know you and the number of people that you know, right? When we say volunteering, we volunteer in the community. like a number of us are doing today, giving up our time to help people create content, giving everything free of charge, so that's volunteering community-wise. And why is it important? It's important because when you volunteer in the community, people get to know you. It's just basic. And they get to know, oh, this person is knowledgeable in this area. So it kind of feeds into personal brand. So when you are volunteering in the community, you're also promoting your brand. To say, oh, I'm an expert in AWS. Oh, I know Azure. I know Kubernetes. I know this, because you are teaching people, you are supporting, you are mentoring, you're answering questions. So it helps to increase your network. The second thing I want to talk about in volunteering in the workplace. So if you are currently employed in an organization, you need to volunteer for certain things, right? I'm not saying take more on yourself than you can bear, but be strategic about it. So I'm not sure how common volunteering is with Nigerian organizations, but when you work for international firms, there are a lot of things that they're doing other than your regular day job. Oh, they're doing this one is going on, they're giving back to the community, there's one corporate social responsibility that they're doing, so many things like that are not directly related to your day job. So volunteer for those things. Don't just say, oh, they called me here to be a cloud engineer. That's why I've been employed. That's what they're paying me for. So that's what I'm going to do. You come, you do your work fantastically well because you are a tech person and you know your onions, and you go. No. Yeah, well, that's what you're really paid for, which is okay. But we're talking about accelerating your career, right? And it's like this. It's a pyramid. A lot of people are below, and as you start to climb the ladder, it narrows out. So we're talking about things that can help you to be that person that is moving through the pyramid in an accelerated way. One of those things is volunteering in the workplace. How can you volunteer in the workplace? Number one, you join all of this corporate social responsibility that your company is doing, blah, blah, blah. The other thing you do is you support other people in your organization. Don't be less concerned about others. A lot of us who are so self-centered, it's all about you alone. When your code is working, you're all right. If another team member is struggling, it's not your business. If somebody put out a post on Teams about something that you are knowledgeable about, just taking out that time to say, you know what, I can give you 5 minutes of my time. I can give you 15 minutes of my time to walk you through this, or putting out what the answer is, that one is not your business. What would happen is you will not go as fast as you can. Because when you help others that are stranded, that are stuck, you start to know more people. Your personal brand is promoted. People that on a normal day you will not be talking about, that will not be talking about you, that you will not be talking about, they will know you. And from there, you have more allies in the system. So it's just the basic principle of like, what goes around comes around, So when you're supporting others in the workplace, you're already showing that you are a leader because you are an expert in this area. And not just an expert, you are also supporting and mentoring other people to get better in that area. So volunteering in the workplace, either by supporting others, either by getting involved in any corporate social responsibility that the organization may have, either by taking on additional tasks, right? So your team lead is looking for somebody that's going to help organize leave. Everybody's going on leave. The whole thing is scattered. I need somebody that can help me put this plan together in a simple Excel sheet, so that when I open the sheet, I know, oh, Tolu is off for this period. Imo is coming back at this period. This one, this is where the gap is. We need, you say, oh, yes, I can do it for you. Volunteering has helped me seriously, even before I got here. When I was in my former organization at Sterling, I put my hand up a lot in my team. When they need somebody to organize something, I will raise my hand. Oh, so this is not technical work. Oh. More like, oh, other things are going on. I'll say, oh, I can help you. Oh, I can help with that. Oh, if somebody is stuck with the power apps, hopefully my app is not working, I'll say, okay, come, let me see what you are doing. Let's do this. Join the same score. All of that. I still had my regular day job. right? But like I said, it will help more people to know you. That's how a lot of people got to even know me in Sterling, because I was helping a lot of people. I say, come, let's do it. Let me show you. Oh yeah, try this one. Have you done this? Have you done that? So volunteering is important in increasing your network and promoting your personal brand. Because when you help those people, they know that, okay, Tolulope is an expert in this area. And you don't know what room that person will be sitting in, that you are not there, you know. And this person is your colleague today. Maybe 3 years down the line, the person gets a job and offer somewhere else, and they're looking for somebody. And the person says, oh, there was a lady that helped me when I was stuck. She's an expert in this thing. Let me reach out to her. You know, so what I'm saying here is volunteer, give back. And when you are giving, don't expect. A lot of us give to someone, I'm expecting that person, you know, must do something for you in return. And you know, as I'm talking about professional life, I'm not talking about personal life. Support people around you. Don't be the person that will see opportunity and be hoarding it. Why? I say, oh, if I ask them, if I give them the opportunity now, they will come here. And when they come, they will behave like Nigerians. So they will spoil my name. Then the company will know, they will send me away. They will say, it's a lie from the pit of hell. You are somewhere and you see opportunities that other people can also benefit from. That will say, guys, there is something happening here. Come and be a part. Be the person. Be that person. Apologies for the background noise. Be that person that will say, oh, there's an opportunity here. Come and enjoy from it. You understand? So support other people in your personal life. Be that elder brother, that elder sister, that cousin that is helping the younger ones to align, to say, no, why do you want to study this course? But you are failing now. You say you want to become a doctor. You don't even understand this biology. You are getting D in the biology. Why do you say you want to go and go this line? But say your mathematics, you are getting A, you know. Why don't you go and do engineering or do computer science, you know, or do this? Be that person. Be concerned. The summary what I'm trying to say is that be concerned about people around you. Don't let your life be centered around yourself alone. Now, today's session, we're talking about beyond tech skills. So we know you're a techie and you know the work already. So that's not the problem. But we're saying that other things that can help to accelerate your growth. And as you are doing those things, people are seeing you, people are watching you, even beyond what you know. Anyway, so volunteer. In the community, I tell you, everyone that I know to date that has been volunteering in the community, when I look back 3 years ago, when community became big in Nigeria, when I look back 3.5 years ago, and I look back now, all those people are not where they were before. They are not. Every single one of them, including myself, we are not where we were when we started this community work that we were doing. We use all our Saturday evening. I remember when sometimes I and David will be talking 3 hours in the night. I want to plan global power person bootcamp. We will be of our time. But today, you know, a number of you know most of us, and you know that it's not where we were 3 years ago that we are now. So let's get involved in other people, in the workplace, in the community. Volunteer. Then communication. I don't know if you've heard of this 55-38-7 principle. Has anyone heard about it? If you can, let me see your hand up. It's called the Albert Mehrabian principle. And what it states is that what you say that people hear is only 7%. As I'm talking now, what people are hearing from what I'm saying is only 7% of my words that are being heard. The other 38% is the tone of my voice. And the 55 is my gesture, the way I'm doing like this. You know, that's what people are hearing. So the way you communicate is very, very important. And why is it important? Communication is everything. Communication is life. You have a fantastic idea in your head. You are a techie, you are a genius. This thing in your head, you need to help people to understand what you are saying. That's communication. If you are such a great engineer and that thing in your head, you cannot successfully pass it to the other person so that they understand what you are saying, then there's a problem. Because you cannot accelerate your growth that way. You will see that some people, you will be in a meeting, one person will talk. People are not understanding. Another person is saying that same thing that person has said, and people are nodding. It's the communication, and it's a skill that needs to be learned. And it can be for various reasons. It can be number one, maybe you talk too fast, because Nigerians, we speak very fast. I didn't even know until when I got here, and I'm talking. They're like, sorry, I didn't get that. I say, okay. The passion that is burning in me, I need to slow down. So I'll now be like, I'll try some. I'm just giving you an example of myself so that you understand that what I'm saying, we're all in the process of learning. I'm trying to pace my speech. Because we believe that, sometimes when you talk faster, it shows that, you know the stuff and you're all that, but not necessarily. Your audience is not necessarily understanding you. But sometimes you need to pace your speech so that the person listening can hear what you are saying. Right? So communication is very important. It's important in networking. Because if you want to establish, okay, sorry, 1 second, please. Apologies. If you want to establish a relationship with someone, communication is important. And as I said, in career, it's also important in your personal life, right? Whether it's friendship or marriage or between parents and children, you have to learn how to communicate. So I know we know a lot about communication already, but my charge to you today is carefully observe yourself and see if your communication is effective or not. And if it's not so effective, try and identify how can I help myself to be better in the way I communicate. Because we are all learning, right? I was in a situation where somebody's spoken English was being complained about. And honestly speaking, English is not our first language. So it's okay. But there are two choices you can have as an individual in that situation. You can decide to stay. English is not my first language. I beg. Am I not speaking English? I don't understand me. Nobody should bother me. Bam. Option 1. Option 2 can be, okay, somebody saying my English is not so clear. What can I do to improve my English? It may sound very trivial, but if you're working in an English-dominated country or countries like we are, most of us are right now, then you want to be able to communicate. You want to ensure that what you are saying is understood so that the brilliance in you can be projected. So you go the extra mile and find out, how do I do it? I did a Google search, how to improve my English. Guess what one of the top things were? Listening to the news. And I'm like, this is so true. When you sit down, you listen to CNN, you listen to BBC, those people, their English is clear. All of us around the world, we are hearing them. When you sit down, you listen to them. From there, you start, you unconsciously, your English will start improving. So anyway, that's about it. So when you're communicating, the way you talk, your pace at speaking it, your body language, your tone is important. Because sometimes you can say, I agree with you, but the tone you're using to say that I agree with you means you are in complete disagreement of that thing. And the person is like, what I'm hearing is I completely disagree with you, but what the person is saying is I agree with you. Anyway, communication is important to improve your network and accelerate your growth. Value. What am I bringing to the table? In every relationship, there must be value. There has to be value. Don't be comfortable being in a relationship and you are always on the receiving end. If you are in that situation, please go and look for how you are going to improve that situation. Because the truth is, everybody has something to give. But a lot of us feel that I don't have anything to give, right? And we sometimes like to see giving from a perspective of money. It's not about money. Been in situations in my life where I have very senior friends who are extremely wealthy, but I still provide value to that relationship. So it's not about money. The people will be looking for me if they don't see me. They'll say, what is for me? It's value. And what's number one value? Your value can be your tech skills. Where you're in an organization or in your workplace or in your team, and you are constantly bringing ideas because of these tech skills that you have, they're providing value. Or if you have a friend, right, and outside of work, the person says, oh, I'm struggling with this thing. What do you think? And you know that you are receiving value from that person in other areas. Like, just go to the internet and go and check. This thing, you don't know anything about it, though, but you're just concerned that person is complaining about it. Let me see what's even available online. And you can be like, oh, you know what? I found a solution. You know, I found somebody online that did this and this and this and this. So do you want to try it? That's his value. Did that cost anything? No, it only cost a few minutes of your time on the internet or even talking to ChatGPT. So these are the kind of things that we're talking about. Don't ever be in a relationship where it's one-sided. Don't ever be there. Any relationship you are in must be two-way. And this takes continuous consciousness. So any relationship I'm in today is two-way. There's nobody that is surrounded by me in my inner circle or my outer circle that can say that, oh, Foyin is always on the receiving side. It's not possible. Because the moment I'm receiving, something inside me is already saying, I need to give something back in return. What can I give to this person back in return? It can be as simple as commenting on the person's post, liking the person's post. And I'm dwelling on this because I'm linking it back to mentoring. Some of us have mentors that, you know, in terms of experience, they are all that. In terms of money, of course, they are wealthy. You know, they seem to have everything. So there's really nothing that you want to give in quotes. But you can give something as little as retweeting, commenting for additional visibility. Small things like that. You think they don't notice? People notice. Promoting. Your mentor has a session today now as I'm talking. If I had some mentees, they can, you know, take that slide, put it up on their face. They say, oh, my mentor is having a session today. Do you want to join? Do you understand? That person will be happy and will see value in that relationship. So when you come back to the mentor and say, oh, please, can I have 30 minutes of your time? The person who doesn't have 30 minutes, the person will find 30 minutes for you and tell all the other people that I'm sorry, my schedule is maxed out, because life is all about value. And it's the same thing in every relationship you are, whether it's marriage, whether it's friendship, whether it's parents to child relationship. A lot of us think that our parents should be serving us forever till they die. It's a lie. You have to get to a point where even before you start earning, let there be value. If you are still living with your parents and you're not around, let them know that Foyin is not at home. If Foyin was at home, this house will not be looking like this. If she was not at home, they would have been grocery in the clinic. She will have planned the meals. Are we talking about money here? No. Every relationship that you are in, there must be value. Even if you have colleagues in the office and your relationship, it has to be two-way. You must be able to provide that person value, even as you are getting value from the person. Don't ever be in a position where you are comfortable being on the receiving side alone. It's very bad, because what will happen is, before you know it, you're not providing value to the relationship. So of what use are you? You are not useful to the person now, in quotes. So Next time you say, please, can you give me 10 minutes? Just say, sorry, I'm busy. I don't have time. And it's the truth. The person is actually busy. It's not a lie. But when you anyway, you get the points. So let's move on. Interdependence. Interdependence is all about creating healthy relationships. So I've spoken a bit about that in value. Let your relationship be healthy with everybody. Bible says, follow peace with all men. Healthy relationship. Don't be the toxic person. Don't be the one that is always devil's advocate. Every time in the meeting, you are the one. Sorry, I just want to play devil's advocate. Why must you be you always play devil's advocate in every meeting? Why? Don't be the toxic person in a relationship. Be warm, be cheerful, be caring, be concerned. Have healthy relationships with everybody around you. When your name is mentioned, like I said, your brand, don't let your brand be that very toxic. Always contradicting things, always of the opposite opinion, always no. Whether it's office, with your managers, with your some people, it's only their managers that they have a healthy relationship with, because they know that my promotion is in these people's hands. But their colleague is fights. Every time they won't support another person's idea. They will not support the team to achieve the objective. They are lone rangers. They only want to be involved in what to make them visible to the managers. So it's only their manager that deserve their healthy relationship, nobody else. That should not be the case, right? So your professional life, even in your family, don't be the type that in the office people know you as cheerful, Foyin, very warm. Then you are at home, then you are terror to everybody. When you enter the gates like this, all the younger ones will disappear. People don't want to pick your cup because they know it's always trouble and problem. Don't be the problematic. Don't be the one that everybody is always offending. Why is everybody always offending you? Anytime you want to talk to anybody, it's reporting somebody that offended you. Why? Please, let's try to develop healthy relationships. Then we spoke about mentoring. Mentoring is important. Leveraging on the experiences of others. Mentoring doesn't necessarily mean you can have peer-to-peer mentoring, right? So you and somebody else that is about the same level as you, they are leveraging on the experience of that person. Someone was telling me, someone said, when you tell me these stories, I'm not just listening to stories, I'm learning from what you are saying. Because when I say it, she say, the person will say, you said that to me now. I don't remember you told me. I say, I was just gisting. Say, when you are gisting with me, you're not just gisting, I'm learning. Some of you and your friends, it's only gists. Yeah. No, you start with withdrawing experiences of what to do and what not to do from that gist that person is telling you. To say, can you imagine? I entered bus too. As I gave the conductor my 500 naira, can you believe I slept off in the bus? And when I woke up, I was at my bus stop. I just go down. I left my 460 naira change with that conductor. I say, hey, this conductor artist, he cannot wake you up. He's supposed to be learning and say, okay. That's why I enter bus. If I say I'm feeling so, I'll say, Oga, my change immediately before I fall asleep in this bus and forget my change. That's just a simple literal example. But what I'm saying is that in the midst of your gist, your friend is telling you, this is what happened to me. As you are listening to the gist, what are you doing? You are recording it in your head. Say, Foyin, hey, get sense. Don't find yourself in this situation that this person is telling you. Avoid it. That's the purpose of that gist. It's not just general gist, it's so that you will learn. Don't do this. Right? That's peer-to-peer mentoring. That's what I'm talking about. In the midst of the gist, be learning. As your friend is telling you, I goofed, I did this, or I was successful. And I was successful because I did X, Y, and Z. Oh, that presentation I did was very fantastic. And you know what I did? I went to ChatGPT. I spent 3 hours there. I was asking the chat questions. From there, I went to Google. I did this. From there, do you know that you can use an app called Grammarly? You can do this. What are you doing? You're taking mental notes. When you're alone, you say, hey. So Foyin said that she's following this person on LinkedIn because he gives very productive advice. Let me look for the man. So, like earlier in the year, I was thanking somebody. in my post on LinkedIn. What was I telling? I was telling everybody that is following me, go and follow this person, yo. That's what I was just saying. I was saying, oh, thank you to some guy. I don't even know him. But since I started following the guy, God, insights, productive tips, different ones, always coming on his LinkedIn. Bam, I've added him. As I was following him, any link, any post that he likes that makes sense to me, I'll go and follow that person. Now I have almost 5 of them like that, always giving tips from simple things like Google Map features that you don't even know about. For example, how many of you know that you can pin your map to where you parked? When you go to the mall, those of us are always looking for our car. People like us, our sense of direction, when God was sharing, He did not share plenty for us. We're always looking for where we parked our car. We don't know. There's a way you can pin it on your map. So when you finish in the store and you go out, you can go back and go and see where you parked. Simple tips like that. Anyway, so there's peer-to-peer mentoring. Surround yourself with peers that are healthy. Yesterday night, I was on the call with one of my very good friends till almost midnight. And what was I saying? I have this presentation. What do you think? Should I move it here? Should I put it here? What are your thoughts on this? And she was giving me insights. No, don't do it like that. Do it this way. As it's coming to your head, be writing it. And she was also sharing something else with me. For what do you think about this thing I want to submit? And I was saying, no, let's reward it like this. Let's edit this place. Let's update it. You're not selling yourself well. Put this English in this place. That's peer-to-peer mentoring. We know the one of somebody is above it, someone is below. I'm not dwelling on that. We all know that. Someone has 20 years experience. What I'm dwelling on today is peer-to-peer. Have people in your peer that you can gain from and that can also gain from you in return. That will help you accelerate your growth in your career. All right, so let me come to my last point for today. Tech bees. When I implement a solution, do I understand the business case? A lot of us are just, I'm a cloud engineer. Nothing concerns me. Just tell me what you want me to do. We want you to create 10 virtual network for us, 10, I don't know, what else do we expect? 10 VNets with SQL in pass, and you must make sure that all of the data is going to Azure Blob, blah, blah, blah. Bam. Just say, that's my work. And you put on run your scripts. Fantastic. Everything is done. That's okay. When you start getting certain points in your career, you need to start to understand the business side of things, right? Pre-sales. What happens before this sale is made? This project I'm working on at the moment, right? That's, well, maybe if you're in a consulting firm like me, you know, or whatever the case is, you need to understand why. What's going on? Why are we building 10 virtual networks? What is the customer trying to achieve from this? And you can ask the questions from your lead. If you're still someone that is maybe like an analyst, you can say, oh, so what's the, I just want to understand the thinking around this architecture. Why are we doing this? What problem are we trying to solve? Don't just be interested in, let me run the scripts and finish. No. Be interested in what happens before the sale is made. Be interested in selling. That's the summary of my slide. As you grow more in tech, if you're counting 5 years, if you're counting 7 years, if you're counting 8 years, my dear, you need to understand how to sell. That solution that you know the technology, you need to take that solution, sit somebody down, present it, and it's making sense to someone that does not know anything about cloud engineering. And you have a lot of people you can demo it with. If you're a cloud engineer, you say, you know what, I want to explain this infrastructure to you. Sit down, you're my friend, you're in product management, you don't know anything about cloud. You put up the slide and you say, okay, this is my architecture. You guys are just goofing around, though. And you are explaining to the person. And when you finish, my friend is like, I don't understand. That means that if you are talking to a CTO or a CIO, saying the same thing, that person has not understood you. So you not say, you don't understand. Why you so non-techy like this? It's not the person not non-techy. You're the one that is too techy. Go back, refine your English, and use it. As you're using the word Kubernetes, you are explaining Kubernetes actually means X, Y, and Z, you know. So in a simple scenario, if maybe Azure Functions, a simple scenario, you know, when you're on Amazon and you just click on add my order, that thing that you click on, can you look at what's going on behind this is an Azure function that just runs for 15 minutes. So that is why we're putting this in this architecture. So all of your you know, so you'll be taking lame examples, connecting it back to your technology. That's how you connect with business users, because they don't even know what Lambda is. They don't know what Azure Function is. All they want to know is that we have this problem and want to solve it. So when you're presenting to them, you need to present to them in a way that they understand what you're talking about. So that's what I'm trying to say in my slide. Number one, as a tech person, you need to understand how to sell. You need to understand tech business, what's going on, what's driving this thing that we are doing. As you are getting more senior, these are the type of things that are required of you. Then pre-sales, what happens before the sales means upsell. You're in the projects, you have started working as a cloud engineer, or you're even in the customer side of things and you're a cloud engineer, right? And they have a problem. Someone is complaining about something that you know that your solution can solve. It's not, it does not concern me. That one is above my pay grade. No. If someone is complaining about something and you know that these people have bought Azure, and you know that this feature is available in Azure, and you can do it, then you should be the one saying to your team lead, if you are not the lead, this thing that I overheard somebody saying this thing in the office, or somebody complain about this thing on the call. You know, we can actually use this and this and this and this to do this. Then you're standing out. You're already standing out. When I was, in fact, when I was working, maybe just 3 years, I was working in an organization, one man consulting firm, a small firm, and I saw a lot of problems there. I was like, why is all of these things like this? I did a slide. I don't think I've worked for up to 5 years there, maybe like 3 or 4 years. I went to present it to the organ. I said, sir, these are the problems I observed that we have. And I think that if we do these things, it will help us to solve it. And I presented the slides, and the man was looking at me like this. I don't know, since that day, he had a different opinion about me. Did he implement all my answers? No. Did he even implement anyone? Maybe 1 or 2. But that's not the point. The point is I've made an impression about myself. So if you hear these kind of conversations and you say, sir, I think that, you know, this, and we can actually do this and this and this and this and this. They may not do it, which is okay. But you have made an impression about yourself to say, look, I understand the technology, but I'm also interested in helping the organization to make more money. I'm interested in the profit of the organization. I'm interested on how we can expand ourselves in this client space to earn more. That is upselling. Then that also leads to cross-selling. So there's something else that is not your core area. So they're talking about some problem that they have with Dynamics. You don't have any business with Dynamics. What you do is Azure. Or some problem with security that can be done in Microsoft 365. Or you don't even know if it can be done. But you know, like talking about security, something about cyber security, something. You go and look for someone that knows security in your team and say, you know what, I heard this conversation. Do we have any solution that can solve this problem? And person says, yes, we have something. In fact, we just did this for another customer. They say, hey, okay, no problem. That is a manager. Sir, I heard them talking about this thing. I spoke to this person, and there's this solution that we can actually implement. It may work out, it may not work out. It's fine. But it's been established that you are thinking beyond just being a techie. You know, you're also thinking about the business of it. And this, as this applies to those of us that are still employed, it also applies to people that are running their own businesses, your own tech businesses. These are the ways that, you know, you can expand yourself in a current space, a current environment. Even if it's a space that you don't play in, of course, you can partner, you can leverage other people's experiences to expand yourself in that space. So if you are here and all you think about is your code, it might be okay if you're still like maybe 3 years, 2 years, 4 years. But if you have started hitting 5, 6, 7, 8 above, you need to know that it's fantastic that I know the technology, I understand it, but I need to understand the business side of it. So what you ask yourself is, how whatever, wherever you work, wherever you are, how can I start to understand the business side of this technology that I'm in? Because that is what takes you up that pyramid, right? That's what takes you up the pyramid, understanding the business. Because guess what? Anybody can deploy the technology. That's the truth. So as you start to grow, it's not about I can write the scripts. Fantastic, you can write the scripts. Somebody that just came out of school can also write the scripts. So what is different about you? What do you bring to the table? What makes you different? What determines what you are earning and what that pressure is earning, right? So that's where all of these things I'm talking about comes in. And there is a lot more, but I'll stop here for now. This is me. You've already introduced me, so I don't need to dwell on this slide. But I just want to say, connect, of course, LinkedIn, Foyin Olajide-Bello, Twitter @FoyinB. Those are my 2 active handles. Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Foyin. It has been so amazing. Like the knowledge and the things I've noted today, is enough for me. But let's quickly go down to the question here. Imo has a question. Does business negotiation skills fall into any of these categories?
Yes.
Business, the last
negotiation.
slide.
So,
Yes,
okay,
business.
sorry. It's this one.
Yes.
Yeah. So understanding tech business involves negotiation. We can't exhaust everything today because our time is limited, right? It involves business negotiation, and your negotiation can be in various areas, right? It can be financial negotiation, where, of course, you ask for X, customer pushback, you try to say, oh, we're asking for X amount for these reasons and that reason. So that's financial. Then you can also talk about scope. So if your customer says, well, my budget is 10K and I don't have more than that, what do we do? Then you now start negotiating the scope. So you say, okay, you know what? You guys have said you want 10 things. Maybe what we can do is from that 10, we can do 8 instead. And maybe some of your guys in-house can take 2 on board, or maybe we phase it out. So all of this is kind of business negotiation and certainly falls under understanding the business of technology. So yes, it's a part of this tech business side, and tech business can be a whole topic on its own, and maybe it's also one of the topics that you may want to consider taking as a community, because a lot of people don't even really understand the tech business. They just know the technology and all of that. So yeah, you're 100% correct, sir.
All right, thank you so much for that clarification, Foyin. Thank you so much. And guys, okay, Ima says thank you. And everyone, I must say that I'm really, really happy about the conversation we had today with Foyin, because at this point whereby we can see what is happening in the tech industry, the layoffs, right? We should understand that it goes beyond just having your tech skill. You need to be able to sell yourself beyond tech skills. And that is what we have. So yes, this will be uploaded on the YouTube page for the Azure community. I definitely now will go and rewatch it again, because yes, down from the first slide where we are told that, LinkedIn, you need to stay, like a lot of people, I'm sure Gen Zs and everyone today are always active on TikTok. Well, for us in the professional, that career is top notch on our priority, then our TikTok should be LinkedIn. So you should be able to share your thoughts, and you can see how, for instance, she's following a lot of people that are even giving her tips on day-to-day, even up to Google Map. Well, I might do my FBI to that extent and also get those kind of people. But guys, LinkedIn, making sure that your I've had a lot of people say this, and I think it's very necessary. Your LinkedIn is your online resume, so it should be up to date. And then down to joining communities, volunteering, mentorship, being a person of value, professionally and personally. A lot of great tips have been shared today, and I hope you listen. Yes, I know our time is fast spent, but yes, I'm glad we did this today. And guys, also note what Foyin lives on. Leave it better than you met it. I hope you are leaving this session better than you came in here, because Foyin has actually left us better than she met us today. So guys, thank you so much for joining us, and Foyin, a great thank you for joining us today.